Hey guys, JR here. I just thought I'd show you a little trick. I'm working on the old F-150 here. This is our truck the mowing crew uses. It's been in the business since 2004. It's a 99 F-150. It's in pretty rough shape. It's got about 202,000 miles on it. 4.6 liter automatic. It's the original motor, transmission. I'm not a Ford guy, but I gotta say I'm pretty impressed with how long this thing's lasted. But anyways, what we had a problem with was the radiator. So of course it still had the original radiator in it, believe it or not, and this plastic tank failed at the seam and caused it to start to leak. And of course this cooling system's nasty and rusty, and this truck's just been neglected since long before I came along. And what I wanted to show you was, I've ran into issues before where, okay, so these are your transmission cooler fittings. They run, of course, from your transmission up to your radiator, and there's a separate cooler inside the plastic tank. This one came out okay, but I've had issues with them getting rusty. For some reason, they always seem to do it right here in this bend, and they'll break when you go to take them off. Now, you can soak them down, you can do whatever you want, but I've come to find that generally speaking, if you can't get them broken loose just by rocking the bolt and being gentle, that it's probably going to snap. So I'm going to show you what I do to repair these, because they're not under a ton of pressure, generally speaking. And the one that broke on this one would actually be on the return side. Not that it necessarily matters a whole lot. The pressure's pretty equal throughout the system. But so what I'll do is I'll get a piece of, in this case it's 3/8 ID fuel line, and I'll show you where the fitting broke off. If I can get this back out of the hose. Okay, it's just not going to come back out for me since I put it together. But basically what I'll do is, so this is an aluminum, you can see it's flared on one end, but it's an aluminum 3/8 steel tubing, or aluminum tubing, I apologize. And it's straight, of course, back here. So what I'll do is I'll take my flare tool, and you can see this little raised area right here. I just take a standard flare tool, and I'll cut it off with the tubing cutter, clean it up, and I'll put a real light little flare on. I don't double flare or anything. All I do is just run the cone end there down into the aluminum to make a little flared end on here, and then you can go ahead and, I had to use a little bit of heat, just a little oil, and use my Bic lighter to heat this up and get it to slide over. And then when you put your clamps on there, you've got that little flared edge to hold your hose on, to hold your high pressure fuel line on. And I'll go ahead and do it on the other side, which is down in there. It's right there. I'll cut it off past that bend, and I'll go ahead and flare that too, and just stick a clamp on it. And I've never really had a failure or a comeback on that. So it's not the end of the world. You don't necessarily have to go and buy new lines. Like in the case of this truck, the whole pickup's probably worth $800 to somebody that really loved these Fords. It's not really worth going out and going to Ford and buying a transmission line. It's not worth having the truck be down for the 2-3 days it might take to have it shipped if you had to go that route. Of course, this thing leaks oil from about everywhere it can leak oil. Valve covers, timing cover. So it's nasty in here. I'm going to try to clean it up a little bit, but if we can get another year out of this truck, that's more than it owes anybody, that's for sure. I think he paid $6,000 or $7,000 for this back in 2004, and I believe it had 60,000 miles on it. So it's had 140,000 miles of guys that push a mower for $13 an hour driving it, different drivers all the time. Everybody drives differently. It's hard on a truck. So I just thought I'd show you that little trick, and hope you guys have a happy 4th of July. Thanks a lot. JR and WV signing off here.